Dear students, good morning to all. Now we will going to discuss about worksheets. Chapter 17, Forest Our Lifeline. Just to recall the chapter. Forests are home for variety of plants and animals. Forest are home for forest means the plants, large plants and animals. The forest help us in many ways to meet our daily requirements and provide ecotourism. Parts of a tree above the stem, including the branches and leaves, are collectively known as crown. According to the height of the trees, a forest can be divided into different layers: emergent, canopy, understory, and forest floor. All these layers provide food and shelter to different animals, birds, and insects. Plants and animals depend on each other for pollination, nutrition, and shelter. A food chain is formed when one organism aids another organisms for food. What is mean by food chains? Depend upon one organism to another organisms. An ecosystem. Okay. Or you remember food chain, food web. Okay, next. Producers, consumers are primary, producers, secondary, producers, scavengers, and decomposers. What is the example of decomposers? Bacteria, fungi, also decomposers, are part of every food chain. Okay. Next, in the nutrient cycle, the energy flows through producers, consumers, decomposers, and soil. Multiple food chains are interlinked together to form a food web. Disruptions of any part of a food chain results in an imbalance in the ecosystem. Next, conceptions of air, water cycle, nutrient cycle, soil profile, and climatic conditions are balanced by forest. Destructions of forest leads to global warming, loss of natural habitat of plants and animals, endangering them. Next, conservation of forest is the need of our next activities like afforestations or you remember students, afforestations, deforestations, the awareness program and educations of the forest destructions to be shared among all individuals. Okay, just all of you see this concept map. Listen, forest. Okay, forest, prevention of soil, obtaining various products. Okay, influencing climate, water cycle, air quality. Listen, necessary for or a lifeline for forest dwelling communities. Next, destruction endangers life and environment. Next, destruction leads to increase in the level of carbon dioxide in the earth atmosphere, lack of food and shelter for animals. Okay, next, layers or forest layers are 4 layers. Consist of what are the forest layers? All of you listen. What are the layers of forest? Canopy, emergent, understory, forest floor. Canopy, which one is provides? Canopy, emergent, understory, forest floor provides food and shelter for animals, birds, and insects. Okay. Next, discuss some worksheets. List 3 things for which humans are dependent on the forest. What are the 3 things dependent on human in forest? Water, food, and fuel. security. Okay. Next, what is a crown in a forest profile? What is a crown in a forest profile? A branchy part of a tree above the stem is known as the crown of the tree. What is mean by crown? Like a in Tamil, greedam. Okay, that is a crown. Meaning of crown. Already we learned what is the type of crown trees in our book. Okay. Next, on what basis can forest be divided into different layers? The vertical structures of the forest is divided into distinct layers, each adapted to increasingly filtered if going top down. Okay. Next, how tall is understory layers? The plants in this area seldom grown to 12 feet. 12 feet. Okay. How tall is the understory layer? 12 feet. Next, what is humus? What is meant by humus? The organic component of soil when plant and animal matter decays. That is a humus. Next, discuss about some brief questions. List few living things for which forest is a home. Plants, for example, trees, ferns. Animals, example, mammals, birds. Okay. Fungi and bacteria also microbes. Okay, fungi and bacteria also microbes. Next, are you know microbes? What is mean by microorganisms? The minute organisms, also known as microorganism. Example of bacteria, fungi also microorganisms. So, in forest, fungi, bacteria also decomposes example. The decomposes example of fungi, bacteria. Next, write a note on emergent layer. Write a note on emergent layer. The emergent layer has high tree tops that rise above everything else above the canopy. This layer gets the most sunlight and the most rain and is much winter. Okay. Next, differentiate between autotrophs and heterotrophs. Already we learned first chapter, nutrition in plants. Okay. Are you remember, students? Autotrophs. What is mean by autotrophs? What is mean by heterotrophs? Are you remember autotrophs? What is mean by autotrophs? The store chemical energy in carbohydrates, food molecules, they build themselves. That is the autotrophs. Okay. Next, heterotrophs. What is mean by heterotrophs? Cannot make their own food, depend upon another. Okay, another one organisms. That is a heterotrophs. Sorry, remember, students, autotrophs, heterotrophs. Okay, autotrophs means what? Then heterotrophs. Heterotrophs cannot make their own food. Can make their own food. Autotrophs cannot make their own food. Heterotrophs. So they must eat or observe it. Okay. Okay. Next. See. What is food chain? Give example. Or you remember, students, food chain? Okay. A food chain only follows just one path as animals. Find food. Example, frog, grasshopper, mouse, squirrel. Okay. That is a food chain. Food chain example, frog, grasshopper, mouse, squirrel. That's all. Okay. Okay. Next. What is the differentiation? Discuss about the detail. Some detail answers. Okay. Differentiate between scavengers and decomposers. What is meant by scavengers and decomposers? Already we learned. Or you remember, students? Scavengers. What is meant by scavengers? What is meant by decomposers? What is the example of decomposers? Okay. Scavengers. Scavengers means consumes dead plants, animals, or carrier to break down the organic materials into small particles. That is a scavengers. Okay. Then decomposers. What is mean by decomposers? consumes the small particles. It mainly fungi, example earthworm, bacteria, that is a decomposes. Next, explain the interdependency between the plants and animals. Okay, plants and animals, interdependency. Plants consume decayed material from the soil for their nourishment or consumed by plant eating animals. That is the plants. Okay. Next, animals. The carnivores then consume the lower animals of the food chain for their nutrition and survival. That is animals. Okay. Next, explain methods of seed dispersal by animals. Explain methods of seed dispersal by animals. Animals disperse seeds in several ways. First, some plants like the bud at left have bulbs or other structures that get tagged in animal fur or feathers and or them carried to new sites. Okay, next, what is the importance of food chain and food web in ecosystem? In ecosystem have already we learned food web and food chains. Okay, or you remember students, food chain, definition of food chain, definition of food web, or you remember? Okay, listen, food chains are important because they show interact relationship in ecosystem. They can reveal how each organism depends on someone else for survival. Okay, see students, food web. Okay, food web. A food web is the natural interconnection of food chains, but larger food webs show how plants and animals are connected in many ways. Okay, connected in many ways. See the picture. The grasshopper ate the plants. Okay, then the frog, the snake eat frog. Okay, then frog eat to rat. Okay, then eagle to eat what? Snake. Okay, that is a food web. Next, you remember students, food web, food chain. Okay, next, what is global warming? What is global warming? It is the unusually rapid increase in Earth average surface temperature over the past century. That is a global warming. Next, define transpiration. It is the process of water movement through a plant and its evaporation from aerial parts such as leaves, stems and flowers. That is a transpiration. Next, what is soil erosion? Soil erosion is, already we learned soil erosion, or you remember students, soil erosion? Soil erosion, or you remember? Already we learned in your videos also soil erosion picture, or you remember? Soil erosion is the displacement of the upper layer of the soil. It is a form of soil degradation. Example, water, ice, snow, air. That's all. That is the soil erosion. Next, define deforestation. Or you remember deforestation, afforestation. Okay. What is the difference between deforestation and afforestation? Define deforestation. The removal of a forest or stand of trees from land which is then converted to a non-forest use. That is a deforestation. Okay. Next, what is afforestation? It is the establishment of a forest or stand of trees in an area where was no previous tree cover. That is a afforestation. Next, what is the prevention of soil erosion? How do plants aid in the prevention of soil erosion? Listen. The plant's roots also hold the soil in position, which makes it harder to wash away accidentally. How can wildfires in forests be prevented? Many people wonder how to prevent wildfire, but the easiest way is to be careful when sharing a campfire using a fire pit. Okay, next, how can forest keep the atmosphere cool? Forests affect the climate in three different ways: by absorbing carbon dioxide to help cool the plant, by evaporating water that forms clouds. There is a cool atmosphere. What is the note on smoke jumper? Jumper is a short length of conductor used to close, open or bypass part of an electric circuit. Next, suggest a method through which you can contribute to the conservation of forest. What is the conservation of forest? We should stop cutting trees, encourage the movement. Next, prevent spreading of forest fires by making a fire line. Next, what are the uses of forest in our daily life? Already we learned what are the uses of forest. Manufacturing products, we learned in your book. We depend on forest for our survival, from air we breathe to the wood we use. What are the reasons for deforestation? Direct causes of deforestation are agricultural expansion, wood extractions, example logging or wood harvest for domestic fuel or charcoal. Next, mention the differentiate measures of conserving forest. Regulated and planned cutting of trees. Check over forest clearance for agricultural and fabrications purposes. What is the role of forest in purification of air? Purification of air. The word forest absorb a third of global emissions every year. Particles, odors and pollutant gases such as nitrous oxide, ammonia and sulfur dioxide settle on the leaves of the trees. Okay. Next, the last worksheet. Write a note on joint forest management that was initiated in Haryana. The joint forest management is concept of developing relationships between French forest groups and forest department on the basis of mutual trust and jointly defined roles in Haryana. Next, explain how forests prevent floods. The roots of the trees absorb the water and prevent it from flowing away. Trees in the forest slow down the movement of running water and helps in preventing floods. Next, explain the interrelations between plants, soil and decomposers. Decomposers are the organisms that convert the dead plants and animals into humus, the nutrient-rich topmost layer of the soil. The nutrients released by the decomposers. See, label the picture of a forest profile and write a note on it. Forests account for 75% of the gross primary productions of the earth biosphere and contain 80% of the earth plant biomass. See the picture, students. See, write the order of given food chain in box provided below. In which ecosystem in this food chain seen? Which ecosystem? See, first picture, producers. The first one produces plants, grasses. Grasses eat grasshopper. So this one is a consumer of the first order. Okay, consumer of the first order, grasshopper. Next, consumer of the second order, frog. The grasshopper to eat frog. Okay. Next, fourth one, snake. The consumer of the third order, snake. Frogs to eat snakes. Snakes to eat frog. Okay. Next, the food chain describes how energy and nutrients move through an ecosystem at the basic level. There are plants that produce the energy, then it moves up to the higher level organisms like herbivores in the food chain. Okay, herbivores in the food chain. Listen, students, I will give some worksheets. Okay, so all of you should complete and submit my WhatsApp number. Okay, so compulsory all of you complete your worksheets. I will give some worksheets, so all of you complete, write, search and correct answers without spelling mistake. So all of you complete and send my WhatsApp number. Okay, that's all. Thank you.